Hey patrons, hope you guys are all doing well. This is the long-awaited Q&A. You guys gave us some really good questions a couple of weeks ago. So now we are going to answer them for you. So thanks as always for your excellent questions. You guys always come up with the best ones. We've got Mike here. You guys know Mike by now. Mike is the general manager and he's going to help us answer some of these questions. So the first one is from Randy. Randy has hull number 1 for those of you who don't know. And Randy asks, will Seawind apply small permanent lift point strap markings on the hulls?
Yeah, sure. So we'll just put those just below the deck line, and they'll be in line with, you know, the main bulkhead, and then you've got the bulkhead that's sort of in line with the helm position as well, but you'll have 2 strap lift points, definitely.
Yeah, cool, okay. Sandy Ladd wants to know, are there handholds on the coach roof? There would be.
Yeah, so the coach roof has a, where the drain rail is along the side of the coach roof, you've actually got quite a grip there.
Yeah.
And then if you're talking about on the underside, yeah, you've got rails underneath the coach roof. So you're in the cockpit, you'll have a handhold up above.
Yep.
Yeah, so both outside and inside.
Yep. What about, sorry, this is just mine, just having a think. What about like clipping on points, walking up and down the deck?
Yeah, so you've got jackline positions that you can put on.
So just jack lines, nothing, kind of, no actual rails.
So so when you go along the coach roof will have a handrail on the top.
Okay.
You can run your hand along the drain rail.
Yep.
And then you've obviously got the guard wires.
Yep.
And then you have jack line attachment points as well.
Sweet. The next question is from Kirsten, who is hull number 3 down in Kirsten. Kirsten wants to know, with the saloon exterior shades being only 40% blocking, are the interior saloon shades needed for heat blocking and privacy?
Right, okay. It's all preference, I suppose. I mean, over the years, we've done many boats with different combinations. So I'm not sure whether it's exactly 40%, but the saloon shades that we offer is what we've done for years.
Yeah.
And they're a black mesh that we press stud on the outside. And they're just enough to knock the heat out.
Yeah.
But you can still see through them. So, I mean, look, you certainly shouldn't be using them at night time. But if you're just in an area that you can, use them whilst you're on the water.
Yep.
Because you can see enough. But certainly if you're in unfamiliar or busy areas, then you take them off for best visibility, and certainly at night time you take them off. But in terms of actually knocking out the heat, then, I mean, a full blackout is always going to be better. If you're in somewhere, really hot like Florida, the guys quite often want full blackout on the outside. So it really depends on where you are and what your preference is. But certainly the mesh is good for general use, the 40%.
Yep.
And then, certainly the screens inside are an addition which is going to give you better coverage. Yeah,
we had this the mesh screens on, it was when we were in the Whitsundays. And they were very effective at blocking out the heat and the light, but as you say, not really for privacy, like at night time when you've got the lights on inside. But
correct, yeah.
So in terms of getting like that heat knocked out of it, then they do a pretty good job. I think.
And that's where, obviously the bathrooms, you want full blackout blinds for privacy.
Yeah, like in the holes, you want those blinds, Kirsten follows up saying that the 1260 has an option for bug screens on the forward saloon windows and side hatches. Are these an option for the 1370?
Right, so we've got, so for the side hatches, you've actually got the Lumar type screens that go in. They're pretty straightforward. So they're an off-the-shelf Lumar product, certainly. For the front opening bug screens that we have on the 1260, look, everything takes time to develop, right? So we've got, this year, Seawind's 40 years, in the making, and we've got all these options that develop, and things like the 1260 bug screens. I mean, I only saw those a few years ago, and because they just take time. So we will develop them. They're not going to be something that's going to be available for, straight off the bat for the first boats, because they take time of having the boat on the water and measuring up. And if everybody wants all the options straight off the bat, then we just can't do it all. So they'll come online, but at this stage we haven't got that available for the early boats. But there'll be a retrofit item. So once we get through that process of developing it, because the difference between a really good bug screen and one that's quite good is, mosquito bites all over yourself. So they have to be done right.
Yep.
So they take a bit of time to develop.
Okay.
We'll
so
bring those
for those of us who are in the early hulls, like at some point in the future, we could order them from you and retrofit them
I'd
ourselves.
anticipate that, because they're really good on the 1260, but they just take a bit to set up. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, a question. This is from Mark Long, but I think that I've seen this question put out loads of times. It's about Starlink,
Huh.
of course.
Yeah.
So Mark wants to know, how could a Starlink dish be mounted on the on the 1370? Can the wiring be installed at the build stage? And if not, how to install and mount it retrospectively?
Rightio. Good question.
Yeah.
And I've seen this firing in on all sorts of different things. I think the answer is, at this stage, the Starlink dish doesn't appear to be robust enough to be left out.
Okay.
So we're seeing that, because you've got to consider that, your boat's you can get caught out in 50 knots or whatever it is, and that dish has got to be able to handle that.
Yeah.
And it's the marine environment. So what I'm seeing from people that have got Starlinks currently, they are taking it out and they're putting it, almost like a portable device, putting it out in the rod holder or something like that,
Okay.
using it and then putting it back in again. So really sort of using,
Interesting.
setting it up as and when.
Yeah.
I've got no doubt that down the line, now that they've activated it, so that you've got the sort of mobile Starlink connection, that they'll probably start doing more compact and more robust units, more marinized, I guess.
Yeah.
So at this stage, I'd say it's probably too early to say we know how to mount it, and because when we mount stuff, we have to then warrant it, right? So
Right.
and there's no one there saying that they've got the magic answer. So
Okay.
I think it'll come. In terms of putting in wiring and that sort of side of things, if it's easy to have the wiring supplied to us and we can run it, that's okay. But depending on what stage you're at in the build cycles as well,
Yes.
or it might be that the wiring changes by the time this particular customer's boat starts. So we've just got to see what's available at the time. But we'll move with the industry. Once there is a Starlink dish that can be put up and it's robust, then of course we'll offer that, because it's great technology. I mean, the internet
really
speed is really impressive.
And I will just say that, we're hull number 2, obviously, so we're very early on in the build kind of cycle, and we will be getting Starlink at some point, as soon as is possible. So you guys can just watch how we retrofit it and then go from there.
The cost of Starlink Maritime is...
No, we won't be getting the maritime one, babe. That's for at sea. We can just get the normal coastal one. Okay, so we've got a question from Richard about the head heights. Richard, we've met Richard in person, and I don't know how tall he is, but he towered over me.
Right.
Hi, Richard. He wants to know about the head heights. Do you know them off the top of your head, or can we look this in later?
No, that's okay. The head heights in the 1370 is actually quite impressive.
Yeah.
We worked through the boat, because we've had a number of customers on 1260s over the years that are 6'8", 9", or whatever, and they come on board, and you think, oh, this is going to be an interesting conversation at a boat show.
Yeah.
But no, actually, throughout the boat, we've pretty much got 2 meters throughout, which is 6'8", which is pretty impressive. That's even in the forward cabins going forward as well. So I don't think. Well, I don't know. I haven't met Richard, but for the vast majority, certainly 95% of the population or more, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, certainly the cockpit and saloon's got huge head height.
Yeah.
But even the cabin's fine.
Over 2 meters in the cockpit?
2 meters,
Okay, brilliant. Okay, next question is from Chris, who's a 1250 owner. I think 1250 or 1260. We went out with Chris on Sydney Harbour.
Yeah, okay, Chris Cabara,
Yes. Okay, so he wants to know, how do we step on board? Because he's had the 1250 and the 1260, and I think that there's been different ways of accessing the transom from a pontoon.
Yeah, okay, I understand the question. So on his 1250, he's got quite a gentle sort of hull shape coming up where he can access and he's got a side gate at the back. And then the more modern styling, you've got that top side that comes quite a bit higher, and it does make access a bit harder.
Yeah.
But we worked through this when we were working with the design of this boat, because you have got quite a high top side. So when you're on the dock going around, so there's two aspects. On the back of the 1370, we've actually got a step which is just long enough to put your foot on. So it's not, so the top side comes down, but then you've got the step on the back, which is just enough when you're
you might be able to see it in the back of the shot.
Exactly.
Actually.
You can, So and we, it's very much deliberate. And I remember standing there in the design office working out. Okay, I can get my foot onto that. So it's just about the right size.
Yeah.
If you're on a dock, you've got a handrail. You can put your foot on the step, and then you can go around, which which some of our other boats don't have as they've evolved.
Yep.
And then the other difference, I suppose, with the 1370, it's got quite a wide transom.
Yeah.
So even that step is closer to the dock than perhaps our 1250 or 1260, which has got a much more, that the transom actually pulls in closer to the centre line.
Okay, all right. So the next again from Chris, another question from Chris.
Yeah.
What is the physical size of the lounge? Because with the galley up, it means that there is less space. And Chris comes from a 1260, so obviously he comes from that like massive saloon.
Exactly.
So what's the size in the 1370?
So you've got an L-shape settee area, and it's basically 2 meters on both sides of the L.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit of room.
Decent size. Yeah, exactly right.
Okay.
And the other thing is, with this boat, again, as per our other Seawinds, you've got the trifold door. So when you're in the right environment, doors up, you can get people sort of sat inside, you can get people outside. It becomes one space. So you've actually got a lot of living space there. Sorry, but what you will have is you've got the sort of the breakfast bar seat that you can have, which is for the cockpit area. So you have got some sort of additional seating that you can use.
That you can move around.
But it's not going to be at the height of the saloon table.
So just on that, the breakfast bar seats, they're like kind of collapsible stools,
Correct,
right?
yeah.
Okay. And is there a dedicated storage spot for those?
Yeah, we're still working through that about how to incorporate that into the helm seat. Yeah.
Okay. All right then. Interesting. Okay. This is a question from Spence, and he asks, have you given much thought to lightning damage mitigation theories?
I mean, look, on a lot of these things, we've got to consider that we're boat builders, not electrical specialists in lightning protection.
Yeah.
So what we do is we follow the standard. We actually follow the Australian commercial vessel standard, which also meets the CE standard, and is very similar to actually some of the US standards. But essentially, what we're doing is we're using the mast as a conductor.
Yep.
So at the top of the mast, we have an aluminium rod, which is probably about 1.2 meters, or maybe 1 meter, sorry. And that sits at the very highest point, so above all of the antenna, radio, and TV antennas and things.
Yeah.
So the idea being that the lightning will strike at the highest point.
Yeah.
It'll go down the mast. The mast is the conductor.
Yep.
And at the base of the mast, we then have a very high amperage cable, which, in straight a line as possible, we go down to a double earth plate. So that's for us, we use a Moonraker earth plate, and they're just 2 earth plates. So essentially, you're earthing the boat. Through those plates. Yeah, so that's the system we use. Very hard to, understanding exactly how effective that system is.
Yeah. So have you ever had one of your boats have a lightning strike?
Well, we haven't had anyone that's got that system that has told us they've been struck by lightning. But equally, they might have been off the boat, they've been struck by lightning, and they wouldn't know about it.
Well,
so you really don't
the
know.
ideal, wouldn't it? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I've certainly had people that don't have that have been struck by lightning, and a bit of work to tidy up.
Right.
So,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Kirsten again, hole number 3. Sorry, there's a little bit of noise around, but we'll just have to deal with that. At some point, we'll talk about a rain capture system within the coach roof. Is that still being done?
Absolutely, yeah. Okay. It's still very much part of the coach roof, and perhaps we probably should go up and have a bit of a look at that. Yeah. You can see, it's a huge surface area.
Yeah.
And really, from basically where there's a little notch on the top there, which is where the trifold door rope comes up.
Yep.
Everything forward of that will drain forward. If the boat's sitting on its water lines, it'll run forward. Even if it is slightly trimmed though, there's still a lot of fall, certainly this front section. And you've got a ridge here. So anything in the centre will come forward. It'll then come down into this channel here, and we're running down into this mast recess. So the mast well, mast is based here obviously, and then down at the bottom of this, we've got a drain to go straight down, and then we've got a drain to go into the tank.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
So obviously, when you've got that rain, as I said before, you're cleaning everything. It's just filtering down, going through, and then when it's overflowing, though, you've got water coming out the sides here and the sides. Because it's a big surface area, so there'll be times where you can't get all that water into the tank or even through that drain there.
Yeah.
In which case, it'll just overflow out the side deck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Once you've got some heavy rain, then you're going to get up there. You're going to rinse it all down, make sure you've got rid of all of the debris or any sort of dust, etc. And then in that mast well, you've either got a drain that's going straight down if you're just trying to get rid of the water, or you can switch the valve and you can put it straight into your tank.
Right.
And the surface area of the roof is
It's
significant.
huge,
So
yeah.
when it's raining and you've got good, clean rain,
Yep.
you know, water coming through, you'll feel your tanks are very.
Would there be like a filter of some description on that valve?
It probably no. Look, at this stage we haven't got a filter.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you couldn't put an inline filter in the hose going through from that point down
Yeah.
into the tank.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sensible suggestion. Yeah.
Okay. So this is another question from Mark, who is also a 1370 owner, or will be. Any more information on the front windows regarding what looks like frames on the angled part in the side? So are the front windows still opening?
Yes. Yeah. Very much so.
Is the whole wraparound now plexiglass?
No. So you can actually see here
Yeah.
at the moment on the lower areas, you can see it's actually just been keyed up to have the glass go in. So that sort of speckled area is the fiberglass that's just been keyed up. So
Yep.
side windows are all toughened glass.
Yep.
The windows on the side of the saloon area
Yep.
are toughened glass.
Yep.
And then you've got the front opening windows, which will be glass as well.
Yep.
Very much. I mean, that's very much part of our Seawind DNA. Is those big front opening windows
the
to get the
best.
airflow going through.
They're the absolute best.
Yeah, so they do have a slightly different shape to our smaller boats.
Yep.
But yeah, absolutely, they'll be front opening.
So the entire window opens up,
Yeah.
just like the 1260.
Exactly. Yeah.
Perfect.
But we're trying to refine it. So the 1260 has quite a large sort of aluminium frame. So we've got a bit more of a sort of a slimline look, a bit more of a more modern style
Nice.
on the front opening windows. But definitely that's part of the boat. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Chris wants to know what size the deck hatches are.
The deck hatches are Lumar 44s, which are, I think they're, what are they? They're 480 opening, I think, but I probably need to double check that. But they're definitely Lumar 44s.
Okay. Where will the life raft release from the transom? So we've actually seen that already. We can, because Randy's not having a life raft
Correct, yeah.
fitted to the transom, but we are. So
Correct,
we can
yeah.
show you guys the difference.
Yeah, so the life raft box sits in the back beam there, and it's if you don't option it, it's just a straight flat back beam. If you option the life raft box, then we insert that, and then you can also option up to have the life raft installed by us as well. But either way, the outcome is that you're releasing it aft from the back beam, so below the dinghy davits.
Yep.
And release it and let it go.
Sweet. Huge thanks to Mike Reese for giving up his time to answer all those questions. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any other questions, then leave them down below and we will start to collate them for the next Q&A, which will probably be, I don't know, in maybe a month or two's time when there's been a little bit more progress and, you know, a fresh set of questions come up. So we will try and answer any questions that you have. Bear in mind that we don't always have the answers, but if we can, we will get them to you. I hope you guys are having a lovely week and we will see you very shortly with the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.